Hello everybody, James has told you a little bit about me, but I'm here to talk about what we are working towards in Crichton, because actually as a hotelier, if you're not embracing how you personalise to your guests, you are literally going to fail. It doesn't matter so much anymore about great beds and great showers and of course great Wi-Fi. You need to be doing more than that, and we want to enable our hoteliers to be able to deliver that in a cost-effective and affordable fashion. So as James said, in 2013 I joined hospitality. I went to work with Chris Stewart Group to set up the beautiful Old Town Chambers on the Royal Mile. And I didn't really know much about hospitality. My parents had a small hotel when I was growing up, but I stole Chris from the bar really, and that was about it. So it was a big learning curve, and I was hugely frustrated by how the technology didn't all work together, because there's lots of acronyms if you're a hotelier, a service department operator, lots of different pieces of technology you need to distribute, and lots of technology you can use to actually drive the guest journey. But how you get them all in one place for your guests is practically impossible. And as Nick was saying, I didn't want to be Airbnb, but I did want to curate the information that I provided to my guests, because with the best will in the world, if your guest is paying you quite a lot of money to stay for 3 or 4 nights, you don't want them ending up in somewhere that they could go to when they're at home. You want them to experience Edinburgh as a local, and being able to update the information regularly and be able to send them offers and tell them everything that was going on in the city was hugely important to me. And yet when I get a quote for an app, it was ridiculously eye-watering expensive. And as a startup business, we weren't able to spend £10,000 on an app, which every time I wanted to update it, I was going to have to pay the developer. And every time Apple launched a new operating system, it was probably going to break. So after 3 years of blood, sweat and tears, of getting Lateral City up and running, I left to start a technology business. And I'm not a technologist, and it was maybe a bit of a mental thing to do. Time will tell. But this is Crichton V1. So it was about giving hotels and service department operators a great experience to give to their guests. So they're digitising their guest information and then starting to put the technology that they wanted their guests to engage with in one place. Because one of the issues that we all face as operators is there's lots of different technologies, but you don't get ROI if your guests don't use it. And you're not going to get ROI if you ask them to go across many different interfaces. So it was about putting it all in one place. And that's really the founding principle of Crichton. We want to be this platform where hoteliers can choose whatever technology they want their guests to use and put it in a white labeled app and tell their guests to download it. And we did a lot of research around about what guests actually wanted to do from their phone, and actually none of this is a surprise, because you've got big chains driving technology like digital door key. By the end of next year, all of the Hiltons and Marriotts out there will have digital key, because this is a survey of just under 4,000 people. 62% of them want to use their phone as their door key, which really is about 35% of them wanting to check in online. And only 29% want to check out themselves, which is probably about the fact that they're scared about what's on their bill, or they might want to take something off their bill or pay for it separately. But you can see, if you're a business traveller, that goes up to 69%. And if you've got 70% of your guests come into your hotel and you're not giving them what they want, you've got a problem. So hotels need to own their digital guest journey. And this isn't just about giving guests what they want, but actually it's about how you use all your technology to capture data points where you can learn what your guests are doing and then recycle that into your marketing and into your guest journey. And that's where Crichton comes in really, because a booking engine is generally on a website or on a mobile phone. Then they'll be in the app, they can check in, that's a different interface. Opening the door is a different interface. If they want to message you, that's a different interface. And if they want to order, it's a different interface. So you can see that, and putting information all in one place makes for a better guest experience. And in the world of travel nowadays, we've got Uber and all the different apps that are available. British Airways, EasyJet, even National Rail. And guests want to, or just people, not even guests, want to use their phone. And yet when they come into a hotel, we ask them to stand in a queue and speak to our receptionists. And most of our receptionists are lovely, by the way. But if you have, for every guest that wants to go directly to the room, and as you've just seen, it's about 70% of their business travellers, if they go directly to their room, they're happier. And then the person who still wants to go to reception and have a blether hasn't got a huge queue behind them. So how do you use the technology you've got to allow you to drive personalised recommendations and make your guests feel that really you care about their experience and not part of a homogenous block of guest experiences that you're delivering? And you know, this research, nearly 6 in 10 US travellers said brands should tailor information based on their personal preferences or past behaviours. But right now, we get guests from all over the place, and quite often we don't know their preferences because they might have come via another channel and we haven't had a chance to capture exactly what they want. So if they're using their phone and you can get them to fill in a profile to tell you, you can keep hold of that. 49% of travellers would be persuaded to make a purchase of relevant offers from mobile push notifications. 50%. Oh, hang on a minute. 83% of millennials would let you track what they're doing if you would give them a more personalised experience. And you know, I've been talking about millennials for a while now, and when I started, they were 37, and that probably means that they're in their 40s now and they've got children. And if they've got children, they've got less money because they're spending it on their kids, but they're still spending it. They're part of your market. And 70% of their guests want to use their smartphone to speed up check-in and services, because check-in as a process is in our sector completely broken, in my humble opinion. So we launched Crichton 2.0, which actually takes Crichton from digitising guest information and starting to bring the guest-facing technologies all in one place to a fully seamless experience. I'm hoping this video will play. Okay, doesn't have any sound. If you could hear the sound, it'd be amazing. There we go. God, when I watch that at home, it feels a lot quicker than when I'm standing up here. So the long and the short of it is that we've now got this white labelled guest experience. So you're having your brand on your guest phone, but it's end to end, because actually when you look at where you can capture data, and data is where you start with personalisation, every point of the booking journey, you can be capturing information about your guest. You know, I had a hotelier chief technical officer I was speaking to, and I said to him, what's your biggest problem? I have 38 databases. He said, how do I drive insight from them? And you know, that is a huge problem in our industry, and I know Alan's going to talk about that. So I just want to summarise by saying there really is no silver bullet in this just now. Giving your guests what they want is about understanding what your guests want. But what you have to understand is that just because you think it's what you want, it isn't always the case. So you need to be able to get all your guest personas together by asking, by doing surveys, and by using the data you have already to be able to deliver back to them what it is they're looking for. And we're happy to share the research that we have. Then think about how technology isn't just about operational efficiency for you, and it is, because as I say, if you want your guests to have a good time, they go directly to your room, the person at the desk is having a better time. But also that might mean you need less staff, or you can deploy them to provide hospitality, which is what you employed them for, rather than standing behind a desk providing administration services. But from a guest perspective, they see technology as about delivering choice and knowledge. So understanding what there is to do around about your place in stay with a push notification, for example, or to the wider place where you could integrate location-based push notifications round about Edinburgh. You know, go to the castle now when it's quiet would be an amazing, useful tool to give them. And personalisation comes from consolidating that data, and consolidated data comes from all the integrations in one place. So, in conclusion, you'll be delighted to hear, no doubt, I haven't fallen off the steps, so we're good. You need to use the data that you gain from your guests and your visitors to define how you're going to market to them and when, and then how you're going to engage with them. And it's about creating a long-term relationship. You know, there's lots of talk in the industry about online travel agents stealing our breakfast. I don't know if that's a term, I just made it up there, but stealing things from us. The long and the short of it is, you must use them, they're a channel. But you should not use them to get the same guest again and again and again, because that's a waste of money. So it's about making sure that you create a long-term relationship at the beginning, and you can use technology to do that, and personalization. And you must ensure that they're in charge of their journey. So give them what they want using technology, and it doesn't have to be expensive. And then the good news is that once they have knowledge, they can spend more money with you, which means you can maximize your revenue. And they think they're getting a 5-star customer experience because you're giving them choice. And that's the most important thing that I'll leave with you. Guests want choice now. And to be able to deliver that using technology means that you get data, which means you get personalization.